How y'all doing? If you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. We got some board games, two for parts, as per usual, and one we're actually going to keep in the box and sell as is, hopefully. And we'll get more into that top one, but first let's dig into these. The Clue, got this for $2.50. This is one of the ones I always grab. If you break even on cards and make money on the tokens. As long as you get two types of sales out of it, it's generally good. I'm not really familiar with the different versions. This is a modern version, so they changed some of the names to modernize it. Look at the map. From the original version, things like the billiard room, which isn't a thing in any house anymore, probably. Now they have a spa, a guest house. It looks, I don't know when this was made, just a modern take on it. Some of the names are different. Instead of Professor Plum, it's Victor Plum. Instead of Colonel Mustard, it's Jack Mustard. This looks like it's from a party. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter because the weapons, they do change, but only rarely. And they always go. They go quite well, honestly. So we're going to see if we got all of our cards. The tokens are different too. So we'll get into those. I don't know how much value there is on this. You know, it's a learning thing. We pick stuff up. The price is right. Let me see if we can get something out of it. This must be an entirely different game. There's never been this many cards in a Clue game. All right, so we got our rooms, our weapons, and our guests, and that's what there usually is. So this just intrigue is what this is called. Intrigue cards. So that's a new thing. I guess it makes it, you know, Clue is pretty simple as a game, so I guess maybe I'm just trying to make it a little more dynamic, which is fine. We'll set them aside. I doubt they have value, but just in case. So, our guest. And these guys have powers now, for whatever reason. Again, just to make it more dynamic, perhaps. Rumor card. Alright, so it's the weapons and stuff we need. Rooms. Looks like the weapons are all the same. The shape has changed over time. Like the original Clue had what is known as a pepper box, which is like a really wonky, like flintlock style pistol with multiple barrels that I'm sure probably killed more people that fired it than ever were killed by having it fired at them. But now they updated to be an actual gun. So we got peacock, mustard. So we got all of our players. Got all of our, oh, they added weapons. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weapons. So that's good. That could be good as an amount of tokens to sell. 3, 4, 5, 8. Seems light. There's only 8 rooms in this. Seemed like there were 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I am missing a room. I'll go through a little better before we list. So these are the tokens now. So rather than like little pawns like sorry, it's these, which I think are better. They look kind of cool. All right, we have all the weapons. We have an axe, we have a barbell, we have a baseball bat, we have the rope. It's classic. It's always the only one that's not like a pewter. We have poison. We have a knife, the quintessential candlestick. And this looks like a trophy, something like that. So yeah, we have 8. I thought there was a gun. I don't even have that anymore. No, there's a weapon card for pistol, but I don't have one. So I am missing stuff. Poison bat, candlestick, rope, barbell, knife, axe, pistol, but I don't have trophy. Huh. I have dice and there's a question mark on it, so this could have value. Or it could not. And we do this to learn too. Sometimes we buy something and we find out it holds no value. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm missing parts in every which direction on this. I'm making a mess. I gotta sort this out. No luck. I'm missing the gun. So there's 9 weapons in this new version. I've only got 8. But I think I can still get something out of them. The tokens maybe, the dice maybe. We're just going to have to look up the game because I don't know anything about this version. That being Clue 2008. $2,400 for sale. I have no intention of selling it as is because they just don't move. And you can see the price disparities in these being like $28 down to, you know, sub 15. So just do a quick scan. We get some parts here for $13 for all of them. Dice and tokens, that's not a bad pairing if we could do that. Just a matter of if it's going to sell or not. Movers and weapons, you can put it together however you want. But out of 2,400, 182, and this is not even the game, so that's not good. So we have these unique dice. So question mark only on one of them. We got that. See how often that comes up. And price point of sub $9 on that. Getting DVDs and stuff. We have like one card. So yeah, not really a parts market on this. It's just not popular. That's a really horrific sell-through. So, not to lose money here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this whole thing, and I'm going to be the cheapest. So I'm going to do $9. And I'm willing to bet that actually goes. For somebody that's an enthusiast of the game, they might pick it up just to replace some parts. It might not go, but whatever. For $9, there we go. Give that a spin. All right, let's grab the Monopoly. All right, so it's got a regular old Monopoly. Modern-ish. I don't know what year exactly. 2013. It really doesn't matter other than the money. So we get these strictly for the money. Hotels, houses, kinda, and the tokens are movers. I don't care about anything else in here. Let's shuffle that off. So, this is the modern money, and the difference is the 50s are a different color. So I just have 3 running listings. I have vintage, which is 60s, 70s. I have money, and then I have modern, and I just keep adding to the quantities on those. Then sometimes I run out and I gotta go back and make a new one, but generally I try to just keep up on it. I think I just ran out of vintage money, actually. But for whatever reason, the eBay algorithm is mysterious in a sense. But it seems like if you list things from certain categories, you will sell more from that category. So if you get into like a real run on like gaming parts, which is its own category, you will suddenly find that you're selling a ton of gaming parts, and it kind of feeds into itself. So I'll get on these big runs of games and I'll sell tons and tons of parts. And that's fine by me because they're easy to pack up. They weigh almost nothing. I cut one of my packaging envelopes into quarters, so I use less material. Can't really be broken, and they get on their way. So I have a listing for modern money here. And it all goes, I guess, kind of at the same rate. I would say the vintage sells better, probably because people are trying to put together like a perfect monopoly, that they have an older one. Some of them do sell if they're quite old, but it's not for me. I've done it. The thing with board games is you have to pack them and you have to ship them, and it gets kind of tough on the shipping aspect as the games get larger. Some old school games are considerably longer than new games. They're 22 inches or 19 inches versus modern ones are closer to 16. And it makes about a $4 difference on shipping. So at a point, I just decided I'm not going to deal with it unless I know I can get at least 5 times what I put into it. And then it's worth keeping around. It's the other thing is you do have to store stuff. I'm critical of YouTube reseller content creators because a lot of them portray this as something it's not. And what it's not is fast, easy, life-changing, or even life-sustaining money. There's a lot of content creators that when you actually look at what they're doing with a critical eye, you notice oftentimes they don't need to be doing this. They live in inherited houses, they have other streams of income, and they'll kind of tip their hand at times that it's actually, what it comes down to is it's the content creation that pays their bills, not the actual activity. So it creates a false narrative that you too could do this, but in fact, they don't even live on this activity. There's a lot of money in this. Got that organized. It was bugging me and lost my train of thought, of course. But the whole point of that diatribe was that if you hang on to stuff, you have to have room for it. And what people end up doing is they start leasing like storage units, and you have just created overhead on something that realistically shouldn't have it. You now have to pay rent on a storage unit to hold stuff you could sell. You also have to go to and from said storage unit. So I am a fan of just using the space you have. And maybe down the road you can expand the space you have. But if I sell something, I could ship it immediately because it's behind me right now. my whole hoard is right behind me. But because I don't have this enormous space to fill, I make the decision to sell things as parts. Doesn't that take up so much less space? So this is the version with the dog and the cat. I've listed these before. See how many tokens we have. I think it should be 8. And we've got 8. They got rid of the cannon and they got rid of the top, not the top hat, the other guy. Oh, the horse. The statue or whatever. Alright, so I'll add that to my collection, and then this is going to be just a couple of bucks, but it pays for itself. You know, we're almost at break even, and we're getting to the thing that's actually going to make us money. We started this back up because 2 funny things. One, I went to list the money, and it turned out I'd sold all of them. So I ran out of both the vintage and the modern. The only money I have left is that middle age from 80s, 90s. It's a little different. So it's a good thing I picked that up. I could just revive an old listing from a sold, from my sold list, so I don't have to make another one. The other thing is, as soon as I listed it, I sold the Monopoly banking that I did like maybe 3 videos ago. So, like I said, if I'm listing parts, I start selling parts. So, however the mysterious algorithm works. All right, so this is what we've all been waiting for. So this is fun because I rarely buy games to sell as a complete game. This is one of the ones I always grab. And this will be the 3rd one I've picked up, which is pretty unusual if you don't sell games as a whole game, to run into the same one repeatedly. I have passed on one of these because it was very clearly badly damaged, and I don't know if there's a parts market for it. So if I happen to have to learn that today, that's okay. But I had passed on, I think it was $6 too. So I did grab this for $4. I'm not waiting for it to be on sale. And we got to be careful with our tape, because I'm going to be selling it as a complete game. A game called Wise and Otherwise. And it's a game where you try to guess, like, basically a proverb. So you're given part of the proverb and you have to finish it. And I think you have to guess where it came from. So some stuff's like badly translated or kind of weird, but I'm not at a point, when my kids get older, we'll probably test some of these out, but they're 4 and 6 right now, so that ain't really a thing. We will occasionally, I'll bust out a game and we'll just make up some goofy rules about like rolling dice and get to do stuff, but they can't read too well. One can sort of read, the other one not at all. So when they get older, maybe we'll do a little bit more with this stuff. We'll actually play the game and see how it goes. This tape is being difficult. The box isn't perfect. It's good enough where I wouldn't really sweat it. I would just list it as like minimal wear. You can see on the back here, there's that little bit and this little like impact. There's a lot of cards to this game. Check the board. Make sure that's complete. That's just one that folds in half. Rules. We have the notepads. Tokens. There's 6. Next. We Give the cards, as long as that doesn't shift, I think that means we're okay on that. These are just used playing pieces that we'll talk. Dice and pencils in here. Or a singular die and 4 pencils. And let's include the pencils as a whatever. Complete. Oh, there's regular black pencils. We'll probably count the cards just to make sure, because I don't like how much space is in here. I thought there should have no space, but I guess you have to be able to get your finger in there. But yeah, you try to guess. Let's see. There's an old Bantu saying, you will go to the doctor with an ox, well, maybe you give all the, I don't know. I've never played it, but it has several raises that wouldn't really mix well. Go to the doctor with a sharp tooth, go to the doctor in one's wallet. I don't know. But anyways. So, how many cards should this have? I'll quickly count them off video, and then we'll actually dig into what we can get for this. This game is from 1999. That's the other reason it's kind of weird to run 3 of them. Or 4, counting the one I didn't buy because it was damaged. $500 cards. So we're gonna count these out off camera. So painstakingly counted, and we have everything. Have all the cards. It's in used condition. You know, you use up the there's multiple game pads that you will use up playing it. It was played, but not to the point where we can't sell it. So we have 156 of this game for sale. And pricing is generally like 25 and up. Sold listings, 156 for sale, 50% sell through. That's why I grab this every time, because I always sell it. And it's complete and it's in good shape. So just getting an idea of what we can get for it. You know, unplayed, complete. I'm probably going to angle for 25 to 30. So just with a 50% sell through, you don't have to be the cheapest guy. You will eventually sell it based on the merit of my reviews. Just the fact that they will continuously truck through, and people tend to overcharge for stuff. So I just want to quickly make sure that 25 to 30 is going to work. So we got 28 here. So I'm looking like I could do 30, missing one piece. And there may be a good parts market for it, but I don't have to find out today. So new, complete, rare, no longer in print. But he's a little under 30. I'm just going to do the 30. I'm going to do 30 with free shipping, which I sometimes regret, but generally, I may weigh it. I don't know. You know, I might just do 20 and charge for shipping. That just makes life easy. Yeah, so not a bad 3-game pickup. That Clue I'll probably avoid in the future. But I'll stick with the vintage ones. Monopoly is always fine, because I just got some money that I didn't realize I needed. So like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.